class. So this is a revision class about amino acids and proteins. Now you can see the composition of proteins. When you see the composition of proteins, they are composed of mainly carbon, hydrogen, oxygen and rich amounts of nitrogen. So proteins are the very good sources for the elements carbon, hydrogen, oxygen and nitrogen. Very important, nitrogen. So some proteins contain other elements like sulfur, phosphorus, other than this carbon, hydrogen, oxygen and nitrogen. So in addition to carbon, hydrogen, oxygen and nitrogen, some proteins they do contain sulfur and phosphorus in their structure. Now amino acids are the building blocks of proteins. If you take any protein, the proteins are made up of amino acids. So the simplest unit in a protein is amino acid. So proteins are building blocks of amino acids. Now proteins are made up of 20 different amino acids which are held together by peptide bonds. So as I said, 20 standard amino acids are present. 20 standard amino acids are present in all the living organisms, and these 20 standard amino acids which are arranged in different sequences will form the different types of peptides and proteins. So these repeated sequence or the specific sequence of these amino acids makes a protein, and these amino acids in a protein are linked by peptide bonds. Now see here, I have mentioned the definition about peptide, polypeptide and protein. So there is a difference between peptide, polypeptide and protein. Peptide consists of 2 to 10 amino acids. A peptide, when it is having 2 to 10 amino acids, it is called a peptide. So a compound which is having 2 to 10 amino acids number, that is called a peptide. Now if more than 10 amino acids are present, then it is called polypeptide. And more than 50 amino acids are present, then only you should call it as protein. So the difference between polypeptide, peptide and protein is with respect to the number of amino acids present in their structure. So if 2 to 10 amino acids are present, in the structure, then it is called a peptide, and more than 10 amino acids are present in its structure, then it is called a polypeptide, and if it is having more than 50 amino acids in its structure, then it is called a protein. And see here, all these proteins, A is nothing but amino acid. In a protein, all these amino acids are linked by a bond. That bond is called as peptide bond. So amino acids in a protein are linked by peptide bonds. So there are 20 standard amino acids found as structural components of proteins. All these amino acids are encoded by genes. That is nothing but genetic code. One genetic code codes for one amino acid. That we will discuss when we are talking about molecular biology. So these amino acids, they differ from each other by their side chain. So two amino acids are linked by peptide bond, and L forms are biologically active forms. L forms of the amino acids are biologically active forms. In this slide, you can see the structure of an amino acid. See here. So amino acid, the definition of amino acid is it should contain a carboxylic group, COOH group and amino group on alpha carbon or attached to the alpha carbon. So remember clearly, just here clearly what I am talking now. This is the definition of amino acid. Amino acid means A compound which is having carboxylic group and amino group on alpha carbon atom. So amino acid is a compound with both acid and base. So acid is nothing but COOH group, base is nothing but amino group. So it is having both acidic character and basic character. That is why this is also called as ampholytic. So these amino acids in the solution, they exist as dipolar ion or Zwitter ion. See here, Zwitter ion means it is an amino acid which is having both positive charge and negative charge in its structure. Then it is called as Zwitter ion. So they can act as acid and base as both the groups are present on the same compound. So acid group is there, base group is also there. So therefore they are called as ampholytes. So amino acids are ampholytes. They are having actually both positive and negative charges in their solution. So that is why they are called as dipolar ion or Zwitter ion. As I said, these 20 amino acids are classified into different types based on their different criteria. One of the criteria which is widely followed is the classification of these 20 amino acids based on their structure and side chain. These amino acids are classified into simple amino acids, branched chain amino acids, hydroxy group containing amino acids, sulfur containing amino acid, acidic amino acid and their amide forms, basic amino acids, aromatic amino acids and amino acids. So simple amino acid we have 2, branched chain amino acids we have 3, hydroxy group containing amino acid we have 2, sulfur containing amino acid 2, acidic amino acids 2 and their amide forms are 2. So total it is 4. Basic amino acid 3, aromatic amino acid 3, amino acid is 1. So total 20 amino acids are classified into different types based on their side chain and structure as simple, branched, hydroxy group, sulfur containing, acidic amino acids and their amide forms, basic amino acids, aromatic amino acid and amino acid. Now these simple amino acids again they are with aliphatic side chain and what do you call cyclic chain also, branched chain. Aliphatic means it is open chain. Now glycine is the first amino acid which is the simplest amino acid. This is the simplest amino acid which has single hydrogen atom in its side chain and it has no asymmetric carbon. So it cannot exhibit D and L isomeric forms. Next, the aliphatic amino acids, that is alanine, glycine and alanine are called as simple amino acids with aliphatic side chain. Aliphatic means open chain. Then branched chain, simple amino acids only, we have branched chain amino acids, that is 3, valine, leucine and isoleucine are called branched chain amino acids. Then hydroxy group containing amino acids, we have 2 amino acids, that is serine and threonine. Then sulfur containing amino acids, we have 2 cysteines and methionine. These two are sulfur containing amino acids. Then acidic amino acids 2 and their amide forms 2. So acidic amino acids we have 2, aspartic acid and glutamic acid. The amide form of aspartic acid is asparagine and the amide form of glutamic acid is glutamine. So aspartic acid, asparagine, glutamic acid and glutamine. These two are acidic amino acids and their amide forms. Then we have basic amino acids 3 in number, that is arginine, lysine and histidine. Arginine, lysine and histidine, these 3 are basic amino acids. Then aromatic amino acids, we have 3 aromatic amino acids, that is phenylalanine, tyrosine and tryptophan. 3 aromatic amino acids, phenylalanine, tyrosine and tryptophan. Then amino acid which is called proline. Proline is a amino acid. So this is how the 20 standard amino acids are classified into these many types based on the structure and side chain of the amino acid. Now there is another classification of amino acids which is based on the polarity. So based on the polarity, the amino acids are classified into polar and non-polar amino acids. Again, see here the slide carefully. The chart was clearly mentioned. Polar amino acids are classified into three subtypes. That is amino acids with negative charge, amino acids with positive charge, and amino acids with no charge. So polar means, what do you call it, is charged. Polar means charged. So based on the polarity, amino acids are classified into polar and non-polar. So polar means they are polar, means they altogether they are polar, means they are charged. So polar amino acids with negative charge, polar amino acids with positive charge, and polar amino acids with no charge at all. So these polar amino acids, again, they are soluble in polar solvents. Now see here, polar amino acids with negative charge, we have acidic amino acids, that is aspartic acid and glutamic acid are example for this. Polar amino acid with negative charge. Polar amino acid with positive charge, we have basic amino acids, that is arginine, histidine, lysine. Then polar amino acids with no charge, that is hydroxy group containing amino acids, serine, threonine, and then amide forms of acidic amino acids also there is no charge, because the net charge is neutralized because two positive and two negative charges will be there. And asparagine and glutamine are another example for polar amino acids with no charge. The non-polar amino acids, they are classified into two types, aliphatic and aromatic. Aliphatic, as I said, it is open chain structure. They consist of open chain structure, then it is called aliphatic. So non-polar amino acids with aliphatic side chain, we have valine, leucine, isoleucine, and proline is also aliphatic. Of course it is cyclic, but this is comes under aliphatic. Now non-polar amino acids with aromatic side chain, we have phenylalanine, tyrosine and tryptophan. These are non-polar amino acids with aromatic side chain. Then there is another classification of amino acids based on the metabolic fate. Based on the metabolic fate. So based on the metabolic fate, we can classify the amino acids into three types. One is glucogenic amino acid, the other one is ketogenic amino acids, then the other one is both ketogenic and glucogenic amino acids. Both ketogenic and glucogenic amino acids. So glucogenic amino acids means those amino acids on catabolism, on breakdown, if they can form the substances which can be a precursor for the formation of glucose, they are called as glucogenic. It means when these amino acids are broken down in the body, they produce some compounds. These compounds can be serve as a precursor for the formation of glucose via a pathway called gluconeogenesis. So such type of amino acids are called glucogenic. Then ketogenic amino acids. Then ketogenic means these amino acids on catabolism, they yield some intermediate metabolites which can helpful for the synthesis of fats and which can also helpful for the synthesis of ketone bodies. So that is why these amino acids are called as ketogenic. And there is third type of amino acid classification based on metabolic fate, that is both ketogenic and glucogenic. Means some of the amino acids, they serve as precursor for the synthesis of ketone body formation. Some amino acids, they serve as precursor for the formation of glucose. So such kind of amino acids are called as both ketogenic and glucogenic amino acids. So examples for glucogenic amino acids, you can see here glycine, alanine, serine, threonine, aspartate, glutamate, asparagine, glutamine, valine, proline, cysteine and histidine. Only ketogenic, we have leucine amino acid, only ketogenic amino acid, only one example, that is leucine. Then both ketogenic and glucogenic amino acids, we have examples isoleucine, lysine, phenylalanine, tyrosine and tryptophan. Then there is another classification of amino acids based on nutritional value. So based on the nutritional value, amino acids are classified into three types, that is essential amino acid, semi-essential amino acid and non-essential amino acid. Essential amino acids means these are the amino acids which cannot be synthesized in our body, so we need to take these amino acids through the diet. So these amino acids should be supplied in the diet, otherwise our body cannot synthesize these amino acids. So there are out of 28 amino acids are essential amino acids. Then semi-essential. Semi-essential means these are not required. These are actually not required when the precursor is present. So some of the amino acids they can convert into another amino acid. So some amino acids, if those amino acids are present in our body, then we don't need to take its precursors. So there are two semi-essential amino acids, because if the precursors are present in the diet, we don't need to take these amino acids. Such amino acids are called as semi-essential. There are two semi-essential amino acids, that is arginine and histidine. Then non-essential amino acids. Non-essential amino acids, remaining 10 amino acids are called non-essential amino acids. So essential amino acids are also called as indispensable amino acids, because they are very essential. They are very essential to the body. They are also called as indispensable. Similarly, non-essential amino acids are called as dispensable amino acids. So see the definition here. The amino acids that cannot be synthesized by the body and their absence causes some diseases to the body. Therefore, they should be supplied in the diet. So I said 8 are essential amino acid. To remember these 8 essential amino acids, I have given a mnemonic, that is Dr. A.V. Hill MPTT. Dr. A.V. Hill MPTT you can remember. So A.V. Hill MPTT are the first letters of the essential amino acids. Out of this, A and H, arginine and histidine are semi-essential, and rest of the 8 amino acids are essential amino acids. So valine, leucine, isoleucine, lysine, methionine, phenyl alanine, tryptophan and threonine. These are all essential amino acids. The remaining 10 are non-essential. So these non-essential amino acids can be synthesized in the body, and we don't need to take them separately in the diet. So they are also essential for the normal growth. All body proteins do contain both essential and non-essential amino acids. They are also called as dispensable amino acids. Essential amino acids are called as indispensable. Non-essential amino acids are called as dispensable amino acids. Now, important properties of amino acids, I said isoelectric pH. So isoelectric pH is designated as Pi. You know pH, when we are writing P and H likewise we will write, but isoelectric pH is written as Pi. So isoelectric pH is designated as Pi. What is this isoelectric pH? See here, I have written the definition of isoelectric pH. The pH at which an amino acid carries both positive and negative charges in equal concentrations, so that the net charge becomes 0. Now see, I said in the biological solutions amino acids exist in Zwitter ion form, but not all the amino acids in the protein exist in Zwitter ion, only few amino acids. But at isoelectric pH, what happens? The charges that are present on the amino acid becomes 0, means both positive and negative charges, they become equal in concentration, so the net charge becomes 0. So that particular pH at which all the amino acids in a protein exist in dipolar ion or net charge is 0, that pH is called as isoelectric pH. So amino acids with both charges are called as Zwitter ion. You take any amino acid which is having both positive charge and negative charge, I said it is called as Zwitter ion. It is also called as dipolar ion or bipolar ion. So at isoelectric pH, proteins are least soluble and maximum precipitation occurs. So for example, for isoelectric pH, I said curdling of milk. So milk,